Did you know that right now, over 272,000 folks in West Virginia rely on SNAP to help put food on the table? It's a massive number. But here's the crazy part. Every single year, thousands of eligible families suddenly just lose their benefits. And it's not because they suddenly make too much money. Nope. It's usually because they get tangled up in the administrative red tape of the renewal process. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify the West Virginia SNAP recertification process and give you a really straightforward, actionable playbook so you can keep your benefits totally secure.
Right off the bat, let's talk about the absolute highest stakes here. I need you to mentally highlight this number, 30 days. If you miss your submission cutoff for recertification by just 30 days, your case completely closes. Boom, done. You lose those continuous benefits, and you're forced to undergo a completely brand new, super delayed application process from scratch. It's a really stressful situation, but the good news, it is entirely preventable if you just know the rules of the game.
And speaking of the rules, they are actively changing. Did you know West Virginia recently shortened its SNAP certification periods? If you didn't, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge administrative shift that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. But it means the stakes are higher than ever, and there's a real urgency to stay on top of the state's exact timeline. So, to help lower the anxiety around all this paperwork, here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Introduction. 2. Eligibility criteria. 3. Step-by-step process. 4. Common challenges and solutions. 5. Resources and support. And finally, 6. Conclusion.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Introduction. You're going to hear the state throw around bureaucratic terms like recertification or redetermination quite a bit. Let's just translate that into plain English, shall we? This is simply a periodic check-in. The state conducts it to verify your household's information hasn't changed, which prevents a disruption in your food assistance. Because SNAP is federally funded but state-managed, the government is legally required to periodically confirm that you still qualify. It's just a routine audit.
Moving right along to Section 2, Eligibility criteria.
To successfully breeze through this check-in, you really need to know what the state is scrutinizing. Your ongoing eligibility basically hinges on 3 major pillars. First up, income limits, which scale up or down based on your household size. Second, asset limits. For most households, your total assets cannot exceed $3,000. But if someone in your home is 60 or older or disabled, that limit gets a nice bump up to $4,500. And third, there are strict work requirements for what the state calls able-bodied adults without dependents, or ABODs. Generally speaking, if you're between 18 and 54 in this category, you've got to work or participate in a training program for at least 80 hours a month.
Now, if that last part sounds a bit daunting, don't panic. There are some really vital exemptions to those 80-hour work rules, and vulnerable groups are absolutely protected here. The exemptions include seniors, pregnant women, veterans, folks experiencing homelessness, young adults in foster care up to age 24, and anyone with specific physical or mental health exemptions. If you fit into any of those categories, you are shielded from those strict labor requirements.
Okay, here is the absolutely crucial update I mentioned earlier. In April 2026, West Virginia implemented a major policy change. They literally cut the standard certification period from 12 months down to 6 months for families with children. I cannot stress this enough. If you have kids, your renewal window is coming up twice as fast as it used to. You are no longer on that comfortable yearly cycle, so you've got to be proactive.
Next up is Section 3, Step-by-Step Process.
All right, grab a pen because this is your exact action plan. First things first, keep an eagle eye on your mailbox. You're looking for system-generated redetermination forms. The state loves its alphabet soup, so you might see these labeled as CSLE or CSLR. The system automatically mails these to you in the month prior to the last month of your certification. If you see those letters on an envelope, whatever you do, don't toss it with the junk mail. That is your official notice.
So here is how the whole timeline plays out. Step 1, you receive that notice. Step 2, you gather your required documents. Step 3, you actually submit the application. Honestly, the fastest and easiest way to do this is online through the WV Path portal, though you can still mail it or drop it off at a county office if you prefer. And finally, Step 4, you'll complete a quick 10 to 30-minute phone interview with a caseworker just to verify your details. Let's zoom in on Step 2 for a second. What actual paperwork do you need to dig up? You'll want your government-approved ID, details on everyone living in your household, proof of your recent income or wages, and documents showing your housing, utility, and any child or adult care expenses. Now here's a pro tip. The state generally only cares about verifying information that has changed since your last check-in. So if your rent went up, just make sure you have that new lease agreement handy. And hey, we aren't just pulling this advice out of thin air. These guidelines are drawn straight from Chapter 1 of the official West Virginia Income Maintenance Manual. All the procedures we're outlining are strictly regulated, so you can trust that following these exact steps will keep you 100% compliant with the state's rules.
Which brings us to Section 4, Common Challenges and Solutions. Administrative paperwork is frankly notoriously stressful. So what happens if things go sideways? Let's go back to that 30-day rule. If your case closes because you missed the deadline, but you manage to submit your documents within 30 days after that closure, the state still considers it a simple redetermination. Your benefits might hit your card a little late, but the fix is pretty smooth. But, and this is a huge but, if you completely miss that 30-day grace period, you cross a critical threshold. You'll have to submit a brand new application called Form DFA-2 and start the entire grueling process from zero. Literally do not cross that 30-day line.
But what if life just happens? What if you face unavoidable challenges that make jumping through these hoops impossible? Well, the state actually offers a safety net called good cause. West Virginia defines this pretty broadly as any situation completely outside your control. Think severe illness, suddenly losing childcare, or your car breaking down so you have zero transportation. If a real crisis hits, get on the phone with your eligibility worker immediately. They actually have the discretion to grant leniency if you communicate with them.
Moving on to Section 5, Resources and Support. Please do not feel like you have to navigate this completely alone. Take a screenshot of this if you need to. Your absolute best digital tool is the WVPath portal at wvpath.ww.gov. It lets you skip the physical lines entirely. If you really need a human on the phone, the Department of Human Services Customer Service Hotline is 1-877-716-1212. Also remember, you can use the DFA SNAP 2 form to report any mid-year life changes. And don't forget your local food banks. They often have staff specially trained to sit down and help you fill out these exact applications.
And finally, Section 6, Conclusion.
We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's quickly recap our playbook. First, open and read your state mail the literal day it arrives. Second, track your cycle. If you have kids in the house, remember you are likely on that new, faster 6-month timeline. Third, treat that 30-day submission cutoff like a brick wall you cannot crash through. And lastly, lean on the WVPath digital portal for the fastest, most secure processing.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Are you actually prepared for your next certification period? Don't just guess. I highly encourage you to log into WVPath or dig out your latest state mail today, right after this explainer, to confirm exactly when your deadline is. And as we wrap up, just a quick reminder. While this explainer provides a really comprehensive guide based on official state manuals, always consult the official West Virginia Department of Human Services resources, the WVPath portal, or speak directly to your caseworker. At the end of the day, they are the ultimate authority on your personalized SNAP case. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Stay organized, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.